High in the Himalayas, nestled among the clouds, lay the village of Thulopa. Its houses, built of stone and wood, clung to the mountainside. Aila lived in one such house, perched at the edge of the village. She was a woman of few words, finding solace in the company of the mountains and her small garden. The villagers often saw her walking the mountain paths, her steps light, her eyes reflecting the serenity of the peaks. Aila found peace in the solitude of the hills. She knew every turn of the path, every whispering pine, every soaring eagle. The mountains were her companions, their silence a balm to her soul. In their embrace, she found a contentment that eluded her in the bustling village below. One crisp morning, as the sun painted the snow-capped peaks with hues of gold and rose, Aila set out for her daily walk. The air was thin and sharp, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. A light frost dusted the ground, crunching softly beneath her feet. Her destination was a hidden meadow, a secret sanctuary known only to her and the mountain goats. The trail to the meadow wound its way through a dense forest of rhododendrons and pines. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, dappling the forest floor with light and shadow. Aila walked with the familiarity of long years, her senses attuned to the rhythm of the mountains. A startled pheasant took flight, its wings a flurry of colour against the green. As she emerged from the forest, the meadow unfolded before her like a hidden jewel. Ringed by towering pines, it was a haven of peace and tranquility. Wildflowers bloomed in profusion, their colours vibrant against the backdrop of green. A small stream meandered through the meadow, its waters sparkling in the sunlight. Aila took a deep breath, the crisp mountain air filling her lungs. Here, in the heart of the mountains, she felt most at peace. The worries and concerns of the village seemed to fade away, replaced by a sense of quiet contentment. She sat down on a moss-covered rock, closing her eyes, letting the sounds of the mountains wash over her. A sudden sound broke the silence, a faint mewing, barely audible above the whisper of the wind. Aila's eyes snapped open, her gaze sweeping the meadow. It came again, a plaintive cry, this time closer from the direction of the forest edge. Curiosity piqued, she rose to her feet and cautiously made her way towards the sound. The mewing grew louder as Aila approached a clump of rhododendron bushes. She parted the branches carefully, her heart pounding with a mixture of apprehension and anticipation. There, nestled amongst the roots, lay a tiny ball of fur. Its coat, spotted with rosettes of black on white, was unmistakable. A snow leopard cub, barely bigger than a house cat, looked up at her with wide, frightened eyes. A wave of concern washed over Aila. The cub was alone, its mother nowhere in sight. It was clearly too young to fend for itself. The harsh realities of life in the mountains were never far away, the threat of predators, the scarcity of food, the unforgiving cold. She knew that if she left it here, the cub would surely perish. Aila knelt down, her movements slow and deliberate, careful not to alarm the cub. It watched her with a mixture of fear and curiosity. She reached out a hand, her touch gentle, and stroked the soft fur of its back. The cub shivered, then to her surprise leaned into her touch, letting out a soft purr. The decision was made. Aila couldn't leave this helpless creature to its fate. She knew of a wildlife sanctuary, a day's journey down the mountain, where injured and orphaned animals were cared for. It was a long shot, but it was the cub's only chance. Gently, she scooped it up in her arms, feeling the warmth of its small body against hers. The cub snuggled closer, as if sensing her good intentions. Holding it close, Aila turned and began the long trek back to the village. Section 4. The journey begins. News travelled fast in Thulopa. By the time Aila reached the village, word of her find had spread. Villagers gathered around her house, their faces etched with concern and curiosity. They'd heard tales of the elusive snow leopard, a creature of myth and legend rarely seen by human eyes. Aila, usually a woman of few words, found herself recounting the discovery in the meadow. She spoke of the cub's vulnerability, its desperate need for care. The villagers listened intently, their faces softening with compassion. They offered their help, bringing food and warm blankets for the cub. An elderly woman, her face etched with wisdom, stepped forward. She examined the cub with a knowing eye, her touch gentle and reassuring. "It is weak," she declared, "but it has a fighter's spirit. You must take it to the sanctuary, Aila. It is the only way." And so, as the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the village, Aila prepared for her journey. She wrapped the cub securely in a warm shawl, its soft fur peeking out. A young boy, his eyes bright with admiration, offered her a sturdy walking stick. "For the journey, Aila," he said. "May the mountains guide your way." With a grateful nod, Aila set off down the mountain path, the last rays of the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The cub, nestled safely in her arms, let out a soft mewl, as if sensing the beginning of a new adventure. Aila looked down at the tiny creature, a surge of protectiveness washing over her. She had embarked on this journey to save a life, but little did she know that it would be the cub that would end up saving her. Section 5. Trials of the Trail. The journey to the sanctuary was fraught with challenges. The mountain path was treacherous, winding its way through dense forests and along steep precipices. The air grew colder with every passing hour, the wind whipping at Aila's face, biting at any exposed skin. Yet she pressed on, her resolve unwavering, her every thought for the fragile creature nestled in her arms. The cub, which she had named Chitu, after the Hindi word for spotted, was a constant source of worry and wonder. He was a demanding passenger, mewing piteously when hungry, restless when confined for too long. Aila would stop frequently, unwrapping him from his shawl, allowing him to stretch his legs and explore the unfamiliar surroundings. One particularly harrowing moment occurred as they navigated a narrow mountain pass. The path had crumbled away, leaving a sheer drop on one side. Aila, her heart pounding in her chest, inched her way forward, every step measured, every movement deliberate. Chitu, sensing her fear, remained uncharacteristically still, his small body pressed close to hers. As they made their way through a dense bamboo forest, the sound of their passing startled a group of langur monkeys. The monkeys, their loud calls echoing through the trees, began to pelt them with bamboo shoots. Aila shielded Chitu with her body, quickening her pace until they were clear of the agitated primates. Section 6. A New Purpose. After what felt like an eternity, they emerged from the foothills of the Himalayas. The sight that greeted them brought a wave of relief washing over Aila. Nestled in the valley below lay the sprawling green expanse of the wildlife sanctuary. A sense of accomplishment, mixed with a tinge of sadness, filled her heart. At the sanctuary, Chitu was welcomed with open arms. The staff, touched by Aila's compassion and arduous journey, assured her that the cub would receive the best care. Aila watched as Chitu, now in the capable hands of the sanctuary workers, explored his new surroundings with cautious curiosity. Leaving Chitu at the sanctuary was difficult, but Aila knew it was for the best. She returned to Thulopa a changed woman. The solitude that had once defined her life now felt empty. Aila found herself drawn back to the sanctuary, making the long journey every few weeks. Each visit filled Aila with a sense of purpose she had never known. Seeing Chitu thriving, his playful antics bringing smiles to the faces of visitors, filled her with an unexpected joy. The solitary woman, once content in the silence of the mountains, had found a new purpose, her heart bound to the well-being of a snow leopard cub, a creature that had reminded her of the enduring power of compassion and the interconnectedness of all living things.